Hi, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here at Sci-Fi 2021 with all of you today. On behalf of WhatsApp India, thanks for the opportunity to be part of this and for us to share our thoughts. I moved to India in 2005 from Silicon Valley. Tom Friedman had written The World is Flat, and there was an initial feeling that the next 25 to 50 years would belong to emerging markets, and India in particular. But you had to be patient and resilient. The way I remember several analysts describing it, it was like driving on a very rocky, narrow, broken, potholed road. But somewhere in the distance, you could see a beautiful superhighway emerging. Now, back then, you really needed sci-fi X-ray vision and a lot of belief to see that far down the road and to keep driving. But that's changed now. I believe we're at an inflection point with a large and growing majority of entrepreneurs, policymakers, social and business leaders who will tell you with confidence that over the next few years in India, we will see innovation and impact delivered at scale through technology to solve some of the toughest inclusion and social problems in the world. Now, many people, including myself, have been evangelizing this for a while, and it's easy to talk in the abstract and in PowerPoints. So the question is, why is it taking so long? And what are the unique signals today versus even 2 years ago that indicate this is actually happening? Now, of course, that's the billion-person question. And to answer that, we should probably step back. In the past, if you wanted to solve a problem, you need to create a vertical solution at scale. And Indian entrepreneurs have always been the most amazing entrepreneurs. And this is coming from someone who was in Silicon Valley. Because building a great product was less than half the battle. And to hit scale, Indian entrepreneurs would have to solve dozens of thornier, difficult, multi-million-dollar problems around cost, capital, distribution, user adoption that you didn't even have to think about elsewhere. And the solutions often weren't the sexiest, often using good old-fashioned operations built around manpower, cash, and controls. But ultimately, there was going to be a cap on the possible impact from these amazing entrepreneurs and organizations. The social impact champions of 20 to 25 years ago, the ones who helped us reimagine effectively serving the bottom of the pyramid, were only going to grow linearly at the end of the day. They would be fragmented by region, delivering organizational innovation from their founder instead of ecosystem innovation, crowdsourced from many, and ultimately would only deliver one solution scaled to many instead of customized micro solutions, reaching and solving the needs of each unique person or segment. To get n-squared scale, impact and innovation, some people might call it disruption, we need technology and a different model. The old model in which one company has to build and solve everything vertically in a proprietary manner is being replaced. The vertical stack is being sliced and being rebuilt in 3 layers, each built on top of the other and amplifying the previous. At the bottom is a core and common digital infrastructure available to everyone. Lower and lower cost smartphones with higher and higher data access continue to scale at the best pricing in the world. India Stack and the Reserve Bank of India have been working for almost a decade to ensure that people have bank accounts, the ability to verify identities, and make payments at basically no cost. And these are problems that used to take up a disproportionate amount of time, energy, operations, and capital of organizations. There was a time when a startup would take funding and then go buy servers and have to build a server room in their complex, and that's where a lot of the money would go. And of course, that was the time that was then replaced by AWS, where you don't even think about it. And the companies now can focus on building their value proposition and product, not infrastructure. In India, UID or Aadhaar, which is the identity, and UPI, which is the payments of the India stack, were great technology and ideas, but they've now reached scale, are accelerating, and like the AWS example, are now defaults that we take for granted when we start things. And if anyone thought that the adoption of UID was an aberration and questioned the power of the India Stack concept, that should be put to rest now. India Stack is 2 for 2, with more coming. Now, on top of this core infrastructure layer, we have a second layer, which is about platforms and services, operating systems and app stores, open platforms, including WhatsApp, which are already in the hands of and used by a large percentage of the population we want to reach. IT service providers, who are experts at configuring and building solutions on top of these platforms, and specialized companies that can plug into any of these solutions to solve a single but common and painful problem in the user journey, such as making a payment or handling a delivery of a package. This layer of technology platforms and corresponding plug-and-play service providers help solve many problems when we think about scaling social impact in countries like India. These include providing mass access to services by people, and vice versa, removing unprofitable distribution costs, accelerating speed to market, and simplifying user adoption, and especially for the next 200 million people, those who are not in urban areas, who may have the mobile internet but aren't digitally native or necessarily comfortable. And when we talk about digital and financial inclusion, it is these people that are our target users, the ones that we have not yet reached, but we will soon. These two bottom layers unlock and amplify the last layer, which is the local entrepreneurial and innovation ecosystem. Any local expert or company with an idea today can build a solution and deploy it to tens of millions of people or small businesses tomorrow. It's taken time because the innovation ecosystem needed the first two infrastructure and platform layers to be in place, be mature, and scale before it could bloom. But those roots and seeds that we've planted are indeed blooming now. Quantitatively, more capital was invested into fintech in India in H1 2021 remotely during COVID than during all of 2020. And we expect that amount to be dwarfed in the next 2 years. Qualitatively, I can tell you that the entrepreneurial energy and quality of Bangalore feels like Palo Alto. And I'm always excited when I have conversations with small startups or even the largest companies, when they talk about their aspirations and willingness to tackle problems that were written off as not practical just a few years ago. At WhatsApp, one of our goals is to democratize access to services for all our users in India. And especially when we talk about scaling financial inclusion, small businesses, rural education, or healthcare, the WhatsApp platform may be one of the few options there is to reach the most underserved people with the most limited access in our evolving digital economy. Almost 80% of India's population is still part of the informal sector. 65% of our population is still part of rural India. And though Asia is leading the cashless revolution, in India, cash transactions are still at approximately 89%. Now, as a platform, we can help turn the tide. Any small or large business, school, hospital, or NGO today can create a presence on WhatsApp, collaborating with partners from the India tech ecosystem and leveraging common services such as India Stack to create easy to use and secure experiences available for any person who's on WhatsApp. And once set up, as a user, all their potential customers have to do is reach out to them and say hi on WhatsApp, just like they do with their friends many times every day, and simply begin what is just another WhatsApp conversation. And we're now seeing amazing digital and direct-to-user solutions being tested and deployed for education, healthcare, jobs and skilling, financial inclusion, and many, many more. We're seeing small finance banks focused on the rural segments, farmers, and micro industries. They've opened up services on WhatsApp. People can now access and purchase health insurance from the State Bank of India, as well as micro pensions from India's National Pension Scheme on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is now tied up with the National Skill Development Corporation to help skill India's youth digitally over our WhatsApp platform. We believe this will fill a need gap in upskilling and create a huge learning opportunity for these millions of Indians entering the workspace. And finally, in the world of health, during COVID, we worked with many small startups. Some of them were volunteer organizations that came together during the toughest periods of COVID to try and kind of change and innovate on the system to solve some of the most pressing problems. We had companies like X-Ray Setu, which was helping doctors get access to data and help patients upload data and talk to their doctors more easily. COVID Asha, a group of volunteers that helped improve this oxygen supply and match people who had oxygen with patients who needed them during the pandemic. And Robin Hood Army, which helped senior citizens who had no access to vaccine centers get vaccinated. These small startups were able to kind of launch and scale very, very quickly on the WhatsApp platform. And finally, we launched WhatsApp Pay and have started scaling it. And through WhatsApp Pay, we've made UPI immediately available to over 400 million Indians on our platform. That's a user base that we're proud truly represents all the segments, regions, and economic profiles of our country. And more than access and availability, we wanted to make sure that adopting UPI payments was easy and as intuitive as possible. We talked about making payments as easy as attaching a photo, and that's what we've done. Next to the icon of attaching a photo, users will start to see the rupee symbol for attaching a payment. This is a major UX update that was designed specifically for India. And by giving them access to things and services that they want and making it easy for them to complete a transaction once engaged, we hope we can bring the next 100 to 200 million people into the digital economy. As a society, we're at a unique moment, one that's been in the making for a long time. And I know there are a lot of opinions about the impact of technology. Not everybody thinks it's good, but I firmly believe technology democratizes solutions. It's a leveler for people and is available to everybody without discrimination. I'm excited for the next few years at WhatsApp to leverage our platform to spur innovation and solutions for the toughest social problems and to drive economic impact for the country. Thank you so much.